Hey beautiful people, welcome back. So in this video we're going to finish up where we left off with our day one of cooking. As you remember, we did brunch or breakfast, and then we also made some bacon jam. Here's what you can look forward to today's video. We're going to keep the fun going in the kitchen. All right, guys, let's get into it. So we're gonna start by prepping our vegetables for our ham pies. All of our vegetables need to be cleaned and diced up into bite-sized pieces. So we have celery, we have potatoes, we have carrots, and we also are going to put an onion into this. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, guys, so we have a lot of celery left over. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop these off camera because I'm not gonna use them for a recipe. I'm actually gonna just put them in the freezer so that as we need celery for other meals, we can just freeze it. And now that I see I had a lot of onions, I'm gonna go ahead and chop up the rest of this carrot too and put in our mixture. And so we'll be back in a little bit. So I'm gonna show you guys what our bacon jam looks like so far. So this has been going for an hour. And as you can still see, it's simmering down. It's starting to get a little thick, syrupy I should say, but it's doing really good. So I guess the recommendation to cook it uncovered makes sense now. But what I've been doing is just having the lid like go across it. So it's still venting. Yeah, weird me. But while that is going, we're gonna go ahead and get started on dessert. And I'm gonna get all of those items out. We need a half a cup of flour, we need some sugar, we need some salt, we need something else. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything out, and then we'll come back and we'll start prepping our dessert because our crust has to be in the freezer or refrigerate for at least an hour. So we're still doing good on timing, so we're gonna go ahead and get that chilled. All right, guys, so it is time to start the dough, like I had mentioned a while ago. So, but you're fine. So what we're gonna do, I have my recipe here. I thought maybe it'd be better to print them off versus me looking at my phone and wasting my battery. So I'll link this recipe down below as well. Hopefully it comes out really good. But 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I believe in sifting my flour, so I'm just going to put this in a sifter. It didn't necessarily say that you had to sift it, and you guys cannot see this. It didn't say that you had to sift it, but I'm just going to sift it. And then I'm also gonna do some salt in here. Said 1/4 teaspoon of salt, so I'm gonna put some salt in there. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and just sift this. Sorry guys, got you guys at a crazy angle. Let's go ahead and get this sifted. Perfect. So that's sifted. And then to this, we're gonna add 1/4 cup of sugar. So I'm gonna go ahead and... Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and whisk this together. I forgot to tell you guys what I'm making. So I am actually making a salted caramel apple galletti. I think that's how you pronounce it. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. Galletti. I'm not really going so much for the salted caramel. For more so, I just want the apple part. So we'll see how this tastes and comes out. All right. So that's all mixed up, and now we need to add a whole stick of butter to this. So it needs to be cold butter, so let me get my butter. All right, so earlier today when we made biscuits, I used half of the butter that was frozen, and I grated it in there. This time I'm not gonna grate it. I'm gonna see if I can get more of a buttery crust if I just really follow the directions and do what they say. So I'm actually gonna use half of the frozen, and this one right here is just refrigerated. And so since this was frozen, I might as well just go ahead and use it. So let me cut this in half. This is the refrigerated one. It's pretty cold, so we're gonna go ahead and just cube this. Put all of this butter in there. All right, and so now we're going to use our pastry cutter or blender, whatever you want to call it. The surface has been cleaned, so let me just move this. I'm just going to blend this in. So I'm going to zoom you guys in just a little bit. See that? That is our butter and our flour mixture. They say you want to go until it's like pea-sized crumbles. So I think I have a long way to go, to be honest. All right, guys, I think this is, I really don't know what it's supposed to look like. So for the most part, it looks like peas. No. All right, so I think that's cut in pretty good. All right, I had to look back at the recipe, and yes, this is what it's supposed to look like. Hers looks similar to this, so that's what we're gonna go with. And then we have a 1/4 of a cup of cold water. So now we're supposed to add the water to the flour a little at a time, about a tablespoon at a time. Thing is, all flour brands are not made equally. So sometimes you have to use more water based on the recipe, you know, just because your flour may not be the same brand that they're using, so it's okay. All right, that looks good. That's very moist. All right, so now we're gonna go on our countertop, which has been clean, and we're gonna pour this dough out and start kneading it. Get my trusty gloves on here. Alrighty. Alright, so here is our mixture. It's nice and moist. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to put this on our surface. I may have put too much flour on the surface. Okay, this seems very crumbly. I don't want to over knead it either. So this is very crumbly. Okay, let me use some more water because that's just too crumbly. Add 1 more tablespoon of water because that's just... So now it's starting to come together. Scrape this up. Some of this flour. There we go. That's better, right? All right. So let's knead this a couple of times. I probably have already handled it a little too much. All right, one more time. All right. And it said put it in a ball. Then flatten it into a thick disc. Put it in a ball. We're gonna flatten it. All right, I think that's it. I think it's enough handling it. Okay, perfect. And now we're gonna put this in a in plastic wrap. All right. Plastic wrap this up. It doesn't have to be perfect, I don't think, because we're gonna be using this in a couple hours. So there we go. Pie crust. I know, right? All right, guys, so I thought I was recording, but we just put the dough in the refrigerator, and I just reread the recipe, and it actually said that you can go ahead and make your filling, the apple filling, and let it rest or sit for the length of the time that your dough is in the refrigerator. So I previously have already cut up my apples, and I had them sitting in water and lemon juice, so I just drained that off, and we're gonna go ahead and make the filling. So I have apples in here, and I've already added to that, excuse me, I've already added 1/4 cup of brown sugar. So we're gonna go ahead and add a teaspoon of cinnamon, where I don't know where my teaspoon is. I just have a 1/2 teaspoon right here. So we're just gonna add 2 of these. Perfect. And then we're gonna add some nutmeg. We're gonna add 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm gonna do 1/4 of a heaping teaspoon of nutmeg. There we go. All right, we're also gonna add 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. I'm gonna have to do this 4 times. 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And so it said, oh, flour too. So I need to add 1½ tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Luckily, I have some flour right here. So I need, this is 1/2 teaspoon. Oh, teaspoon or tablespoon? Hold on. 1½ tablespoons. So it's 1/2, 1, 2, 3. What are you laughing at? Oh Lord, hold on, tell me about a minute. So it's 1½ tablespoons of flour. So just make sure I follow my recipe. Apples, brown sugar, flour, lemon juice, cinnamon, nutmeg. Yep, got it. So what we're gonna do is mix this together. I wonder why it didn't call for vanilla. I don't know. Right? So y'all know me. I'm gonna add some vanilla. I'm gonna add a little bit of vanilla to this. I also have maple extract, so I'm gonna add some maple to it as well. So I'm just gonna do a little bit. It didn't call for vanilla, but well, it's a lot of vanilla. I really like to utilize vanilla, especially when I make apple crisp. Oh, it's so good. So just do a little bit of maple, a couple of drops. This maple extract is so strong. So let's just do a couple drops of that. All right, we're gonna let this sit. We're gonna let this sit until our crust is ready in about an hour or so. All right, guys, so today has been very eventful. So we got our bacon jam in the crock pot. We've already made brunch, so brunch was delicious. Or breakfast, it really was breakfast because it was 11:30. So we made breakfast. We went ahead and put our apple filling for our galette. I need to figure out how to say that. Hold on. All right, guys. So I went to go check on our bacon jam, and so it actually has almost 2 more hours left on it. It's going really good. It smells really good in our house. The dessert that I'm making is actually pronounced galette, not galette. Galette. So we're making a salted caramel apple galette. That is in the refrigerator, just chilling right now until we get ready for dinner, which will be several hours from now. But I wanted to just sit down with you guys because I mentioned earlier that I was looking for a hobby, and one of the things that I thought that I may be interested in is gardening. And so we went to the nursery, our local nursery yesterday, and we picked up some items. So I'm going to be hopefully planting my garden on our patio. If our patio doesn't get enough sun, then I'll just take it to our front yard area. But this is the planter that I got, so it's gonna be in a container. We also picked up some individual clay containers. So these are more so for my herbs. That I don't know if I'm gonna have those in the house or outside yet, so we'll figure that out. So that's for our herb plants. And then I have some soil right there. So that is natural organic potting soil. So what we're going to be planting today, which shouldn't take me too long to show you guys, is some lettuce. So this is, yeah, a romaine lettuce. Look how beautiful it is. So what I decided to do, and maybe I can go into a deeper explanation one day once I get a little bit better with this, but I decided to go with starters. So these are called starter plants instead of seeds. because again, I don't know what I'm doing. So we're doing that. So we got 2 romaine lettuces, and then this one is a kale, and this leaf is already starting to turn on me. So I definitely need to go ahead and plant those. This is called dinosaur kale. I mean, it's supposed to just spread upwards, and as it grows, you can just take a leaf off and it'll just keep replenishing itself. So I was like, yes, A+ for that. So, and those are just my gloves. So what we're going to do, oh, let me show you this, the herbs that I got. So me and my husband decided to go with cilantro. Cilantro is actually really good. And then also dill, which she limping a little bit right now, but she was standing straight up yesterday. So I just have to put some water in them. So we're gonna go ahead and put some some soil. Oh, hold on. We're gonna go ahead and put some soil in our planter, and then we're gonna get this outside. Soil, then our plants, and then we'll get it outside. So I'm just gonna let you guys watch me do that. All right, so my pot is ready. So what I'm gonna do is kind of, because I wanted to fill it, I still have to put more soil on top of it when I put the plant in there. So I'm gonna dig a little cavity about the ideal size of where I want to plant my vegetables. So there we go there. And so what I'm gonna do is go ahead and take, sorry guys. All right, so you're gonna take this lettuce. I'm gonna squeeze the container just a little bit. We're gonna hope this pops out, and it does. My first lettuce. And so what I actually read, let me put this right here. I'm gonna loosen this up a little bit. Actually, let me put it, I read that if you soak it first in some water before you plant it, it gives it a leg up. It's going into your soil already wet. So there we go. That's wet. So let me just break it up just a little bit. Break some of that soil up. All right. Move that. That's broken up. You see that? And then we're gonna plant it. Push it up just a little bit more. And put it in there. My first plant. Okay, good, keep going.
That's it?
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our, like I said, our kale. We're gonna put that one, we're gonna put that one in a, in the middle. Yeah. So now what we're gonna do is put some more soil in this.
If you are into gardening or plants, let me know if I should have actually filled this container up to the very top versus stopping where I stopped at. Because again, I'm learning and I'm new to this. I really don't know. So any advice you have, please let me know.
I think that's good, y'all. All right, I think we got those good. For some reason, I feel like I need some more soil. I don't know why. I guess because it's not full to the top. I don't know. All right, so what I'm gonna do is Okay, I think that's good. May actually do a little too much soil, to be honest. Because it's going to continue to grow and they're going to blossom and they're going to grow tall. So I'll continue to have to put soil in here. So I need to get some water. Put some water in here. I just hope I have enough soil in here. What y'all think? Do I need to put more soil in there? I don't know. I'm actually going to use this water that I dipped the plants into. Just going to put some water in here. All right, it should be good. All right, guys. So this is my first potted plant or food garden, vegetable garden, I should say, that I'm starting on my patio. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my herbs together because my camera's about to die. So I'm gonna do my herbs off camera, get my herbs together, and then we'll be back. So is that actually enough soil, guys? I don't know. All right, guys, I wish you guys could smell this. It smells amazing. So our bacon jam is done. Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. So it is done, and I'm not gonna lie, we already had a little bit of this because what I did, I didn't film this, but I made some fried green tomatoes, and y'all, when I tell you it was fire with this bacon jam, it was so good. So this is now turned off. Sorry, I got on a rant. This is now turned off. Sorry. This is now turned off. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and blend this in our food processor. So if I can get my blade in, go ahead and sit this on the thing. Let me zoom you guys out so you guys can see what I'm doing. But hold on, before I zoom you guys out, look at that. I want you guys to see that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, your girl did that bacon jam. Oh, it looks so, it's so good, y'all. It is so good. It's worth it. All right. So what we're going to do now is put it in our food processor. I was going to get out my big food processor, but as we were eating our fried green tomatoes, we processed a little bit at a time in this little one, and it worked out perfectly. So we're just going to keep just processing it in here. So I'll do 2 batches really quickly. So after you process it, you see how this is more like a big, thicker chunk. But again, we're going for a jam consistency. So this is very like, you can hear it, very like saucy. It's a jam. Yeah, this stuff is so good. Okay, so let me put this in my, I'm gonna put this in my container really quickly, so we can process a little bit more. And this was so easy to make, like so easy to make. And it, according to the recipe, it keeps in your refrigerator for either 4 or 5 weeks. So this would be something good on burgers, on tacos, on just like sandwiches, like fried green tomatoes. Like it's just that good. So let me blend up the rest of this. And I will say too, at first when I started the bacon jam, I had the lid partially on, but then the last 2 hours I did let it cook without the lid on. So, and I did a total of 4.5 hours in here. It doesn't call for up to 4 hours, but you know. That's it. There we go. We have our bacon jam. That is just so good and delicious and really hot, by the way. Will it all fit? I was gonna put it in a mason jar, but since I just bought these new containers, I want to test them out because they're supposed to be like airtight, everything tight. So all right, so I will say that this right here is a 1.5 cups. I do believe. Oh, there's 1.3, so a 1.33 cups ounces. So this is a lot of bacon jam for me and my husband. But I will say, me and my husband has already ate some of the bacon jam, so it probably made about a little bit over a 1.5 cups of bacon jam altogether after you like jam it up or post it up. So again, this is what it looks like. Delicious bacon jam. All right, so that's it. I did not show the fried green tomatoes, but they were amazing. I didn't know how they were going to turn out, so that's why I didn't want to video it, but they were really good. And so it's roughly 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock now, so I'll probably finish out our dinner and our dessert in the next hour and a half. So the garden, oh, I forgot to tell you that the garden is outside, so I'll show you guys what that looks like here in a little bit too before I end the video. Yeah, so I'll come back on and talk to you guys in a little bit. All right, so what we're gonna do now is get our savory hen pies together, which is gonna be our dinner meal. Several hours have passed, so and it's gonna take a little bit of time for these hen pies to come together. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that together. All right, so we did end up buying fresh, locally grown, grass-fed, grass-finished ground beef from the farmer's market when we went the other day, from the same farmer that gave us the bacon jar. So I'm gonna use some fresh beef in this. Hopefully it goes well. All right, there we go. I chopped my my vegetables and stuff and just set them in the refrigerator. I mean in the microwave while I got this ready. So, all right, to this pan, we're gonna go ahead and get started. It actually calls for butter, for me to add a tablespoon of butter and olive oil here. However, this is a pan that I used earlier for my bacon jam stuff. So I'm just gonna reuse this pan, and I'm actually going to use some bacon fat. Let's put some of this bacon fat, instead of doing olive oil and butter, I'm just gonna use some bacon fat. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add, let me take out my garlic cloves. We're gonna add our carrots, onions, and celery to this. And I hope this container is big enough, because it told me to do it in a Dutch oven, and I was like, I'm not gonna dirty up my Dutch oven. So this stuff should cook down anyway, so we should be good. We're gonna add some pepper, and we're gonna add some salt. My pepper comes out very slow. All right, added some pepper and salt. We're gonna get this cooking. I'm gonna go ahead and cook this for a couple of minutes. So I'll let that go there. Alright guys, so as you guys seen, I went ahead and pressed my garlic in here. I did 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. Went ahead and put my ground beef in. And then I just sprinkled in a teaspoon and a half of Italian seasoning. So we're just going to let this cook down until there's no more pink left in the ground beef, and then we'll continue to move on from there. Alright, so this is looking pretty good here. It's gonna keep cooking. We're gonna go ahead and add in some tomato paste. So with our tomato paste, we only need 1 tablespoon. So we're gonna add in 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. And then we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. We're gonna combine that really quickly. It smells really good. Actually, it smells really good. And so next is calling for 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, which I've already divvied out here. So the instructions say just to sprinkle in the flour and spray until it's well blended. I'm just gonna do a little at a time just to make sure I get all of that flour dissolved. All right, I'm glad I called for flour because it's actually helping thicken up that grease that I was concerned about. Okay, this may actually be a good little meal. Okay, so now that our flour is in there and dissolved, the next step is to add our beef broth. 1 1/4 cup of beef broth. So this is a cup of beef broth. And let me add 1/4 of a cup in here. Okay. It's 1 1/4 of beef broth. So I actually got my bone broth. This is the bone broth that I like to use. This one comes from Aldi. It's a pretty good one. So we're gonna let that go. And then we also need to go ahead and add in our potatoes. So add in my potatoes, which have started to turn since I actually made them earlier, but it's okay. Still tastes good. Alright guys, so here is our filling. I'll bring it a little closer so you guys can see it. So it did make like a sauce consistency with our meat mixture. What I will say is off camera, I did add extra spices. I added about a teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of mustard powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, and I added some salt as well because I was tasting it as it was cooking and I was like, yeah, it needs a little bit more seasoning for our liking. So that was a good balance of seasonings for us. And so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the heat. It cooked for roughly 25 minutes and this is really good. And so now we need to let this cool. Actually, no, I need to add thyme, some chopped parsley, and some peas. So let me do that. All right, we got some parsley in there, we got some thyme in there, perfecto. And then we're gonna add some peas. So it says 1/4 cup of peas, however, I'm also going to add some corn. I'm gonna add some frozen corn. About 1/4 cup. Maybe like like 1/8 of a cup of frozen corn. And then we're gonna add peas. I know where my 1/4 of a cup measure is. Just gonna eyeball that. That should be about it. 1/4 of a cup. All right, and then it says to stir this in. And I guess as it rests for the next couple of minutes and come to cool, it will cook it. Well, it will pretty much just already cook because it's frozen peas, but it will heat up the vegetables. All right guys, so here is our puff pastry. So I actually have 2 of these. I got this brand from Hair Cedar. These come in this roll. And there should be 2 sheets per roll. And so the instructions said to let your puff pastry come to room temperature. So I'm just going to unroll it and then allow it to come to room temperature unrolled. Hopefully it's just all on one sheet. Oh, and what I will say to the mixture as well, I added a little bit more Worcestershire sauce, and it's perfect now, so it's awesome. So, I thought this said that this was 2 sheets, but this is just 1 sheet of puff pastry. Interesting. I don't know. I thought this was 2 sheets. Bummer. Whatever. We'll make it work. So already rolled out for us. We have 2 sheets of puff pastry mix. We're gonna let this come up to room temperature just for a little bit, and then we'll start assembling. Ham pie. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of these off camera. All right, guys, these are our hand pies. Let me zoom out some. So this one I just made, I had extra dough, so I just made something with that. But these are our hand pies. So we're gonna see how these bad boys bake up. They're supposed to be frozen for another 15-20 minutes, but I don't have freezer space for this big tray. So we're just gonna go in a 400-degree oven. And then I have a lot of extra mixture left, so I'm just going to freeze that so we can just use it another time. So with that, we're gonna have sweet potato fries. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those started. And then I could just move my camera angle, but I'm not. And I'm gonna go ahead and freeze this, and then I'll be back here shortly. They said 12 inches, but this is gonna be a thick crust. I'm gonna roll it up some more. You can see the butter in it though, so I'm happy with that. It's full. Yeah, it looks very full. But no, that's how it's supposed to look though. Perfect. I did it!
Get out, girl. Go. All right. Walk outside then.
Okay. So that's that. Okay, guys? We did it. That's how it's supposed to look. So what happened is that it's a salted caramel galette. However, I don't have heavy cream to make the caramel. So what I'm going to do, So what I'm going to do is use butterscotch, use what I have. And I don't feel like making homemade caramel either. So I'm just gonna do 3 tablespoons of this on the apples. So I'm just not on the crust though. So just gonna drizzle this on the apples. And butterscotch to me and caramel has like the same, just about the same flavor, so it'll work. So, all right. Perfect. This looks so pretty, y'all. So pretty. Okay, make sure to press to seal the edges. Okay, brush the crust with an egg white. Okay. So let me just make sure these edges are sealed. They look pretty good. So I still got my egg wash here from my puff pastries, from my hand pies. So we're gonna go ahead and use that. So I'm gonna bake it for 35 minutes. Well, since my oven's probably really hot, I'm probably gonna do 30 minutes and then look at it. Look at, uh-oh, you guys can see it? There we go. Actually, I'm zoomed in. Gosh. There we go. See how pretty that is? for those apples. Homemade dessert. Okay. All right. A lot of work. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this in the oven, and then, oh, let me show you guys our hand pies. Look at these bad boys. They look beautiful. It's beautiful hand pies. So got our hand pies, and then we got our sweet potato fries here. So we're about to eat, which is perfect timing because I think it's a little after 8 o'clock now. So we're about to eat, and then after we're done eating, dessert should be ready just in time for Game of Thrones. So perfect. All right, I'll catch you guys in a little bit. All right, guys. So this is going to be our plate. This is the shape that I wanted them to come out. But most of them are that wide shape, which is totally fine. But we're gonna enjoy some dinner, our hand pies and our fries, along with our bacon jam sitting right there. So I'll open this up so you guys can see what it looks like. All right, guys, so here is our dessert, ice cream with our pie on it. Let you guys get into that. So it actually came out pretty good. Oh, there we go. It actually came out pretty good. So the apples are still holding in there really good. Let's just hope that the crust is cooked all the way through. So, all right, we are actually watching Game of Thrones. So I gotta get back downstairs, bring my husband the dessert. We're gonna eat this, and I'll come back. I'll probably, if I don't close out tonight, I'll close out in the morning. Probably let's close out in the morning because I want to show you guys my garden. So that's it for tonight. I'll let you guys know how the dessert came out tomorrow. Bye. Hey guys, so it is the next day. Thank you. I hope you guys made it this far, and thank you for sticking along with me. But I want to go outside really quickly and show you guys my plants, my vegetables, my babies. So here they are. I actually need to be watered. Then we actually decided to let me show you guys really close. Good. So we actually decided to put the plants in the front yard. And the reason for that is because right now, due to the fact that there isn't a lot of sunlight out, because we're in the fall season in North Carolina, our front yard gets more sun. So long story short, did that. And my herbs are upstairs in the windowsill. So right in front of my office desk. So I can see those and check on those. So super cute project. So I hope you guys have enjoyed coming along with me as your girl finds a hobby, and just bring you guys on a day in the life of me just wanting to be at home and just do stuff around the house, like cooking and starting to garden and all of that. So if you guys like this content, certainly let me know. I'll be more than happy to make more cooking videos. I love to cook on the weekends. More than happy to make this type of videos and show you my garden as well. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.